Now, this is Friday morning, and I wake up freaking out, absolutely terrified that my son did what he did. Like, not terrified that he was going to do it again, because I grasped that he wasn't there when I looked for him and he wasn't there, which made me just freak. But I knew where he was, and my goal was to get him help. And I immediately asked for letters from people that knew him before, and about showing an incident that affected them to the point where they knew that Dave needed help. So I ended up having 4 people get me letters, which was something that I had ready for Monday morning. I can't thank them people enough. They are very special to me now. I mean, on a level even more importantly than they were before. And I got to find out a little bit more about my son. But that Friday morning in particular, we got up. I am itching still from being there. We're done. We have 2 more gallons of this bed bug spray. I have essential oils. I am done. I'm done with this. So Friday, we completely empty out the place. I mean, every cabinet, every cabinet except for the kitchen cupboards were emptied out. I mean, except for I got a hanging jewelry thing that I have, that I left that in there. I was like, you can get poisoned in case anything's in there. And my scale, and it just I mean, really, like, little stuff. There was nothing major left in this place. Couple vases or statues or something. Nothing. And wait, that's not true. Because the first time, all we did was we emptied everything out of the cabinets and got all the paper out. All the clothes were already out. They've been out since David was there and we did the laundry. I mean, at this point, our bedding was literally in black bags every day in the sun, unless it was raining, just because we knew that heat would help. I mean, that was one of the things. You go take your stuff and heat it as hot as you can. So now we spray the whole place, because that's what you're supposed to do, is spray it down. Well, we did the essential oil on Friday. Now, at that point, we also essential oiled ourselves again, totally oiled down our hair, and we're starting to find bugs after we do this oiling thing, which is why we were like, okay, this whole house is being done again, and we completely essential oiled the whole house, and then we're like, all right, and then we'll let this dry, and tomorrow we'll just poison the whole place. We'll just go extreme. So we go and we spray everything down. Now, mind you, we had a little 32-inch TV here, and we had brought that into our room when David was using the 55-inch, and we had just taken and put it on the little desk inside, and we sprayed behind it, and we sprayed all the cracks and crevices and stuff, but we were just spraying the cracks and crevices. We weren't getting right into things yet. And we sprayed the whole place down. And we only had 1 gallon. So we sprayed the whole place down. We had done the essential oils the day before. We sprayed the whole place down with poison, and had to, of course, come outside, and we have to bring the cat out. So we've got my cat out in the cat carrier, And here we are sitting underneath the fifth wheel part of our trailer because it's at least covered. And we sprayed the house.
So tired of spraying.
We sprayed the house on Saturday, went to Friday night because we were all oiled up. We had gotten all the bugs off of us. So we ended up going and having adult beverages and dinner with our cousins, which was absolutely awesome because we so needed a break. And the next day was the birthday party, or was it Sunday?
Sunday.
Oh, that was Sunday. No, so Saturday we do the house. We spray everything. We're outside. Sunday comes along. We end up vacuuming all morning, and then go to a birthday party after we showered. Now, we've done this poison thing 2 days in a row, and I'm still itching, but we're also on an opiate. What was it? Percocet. And I don't do stuff like this, so I am just itching all over, and I am like, oh man, we got bugs on us, and I'm freaking out, but I know we don't because we just took care of all of this, right? So, lo and behold, we go and we take care of, we go, we do the family thing. The next day, we vacuum again, and on Tuesday, we go back through and we start the whole process again, and we end up doing the essential oils first, and then the next day we end up doing a gallon of spray, and the third day we vacuumed, and this became our cycle for, well, that Monday, I can't say that because Sunday we ended up vacuuming, and Monday we ended up spending the day at court. We went to the Ventura County Sheriff's and the county building, and we went to first the victims unit, and all they wanted to do was have us press charges, do the order of protection and all of that to make it worse for Dave. And I'm like, look, I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried about is making sure that he gets help, that he gets the right services that he needs. I'm the victim. You're supposed to listen to me. Let's do this. And they're like, oh, you got the wrong office. So we end up being told, from there we get told to go talk to the public defender's office. So now we go down to the public defenders, and we're at the counter there, and we're talking to them, and we figure out what time Dave's court is, which is 1:30, which we knew was in the afternoon, and we found out which room, and they were saying if he's showing signs of schizophrenia, then we can, definitely get it moved over to the mental health. We can help you with this. Yes, but he has to be arraigned, and he hasn't been arraigned yet because he gets arraigned at 1:30. So now this is maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock, and luckily one of my aunts had hooked us up and got us a car to make sure that we could rent a car and go do this, so we could go take care of trying to get Dave the help he needs. So we had gotten a car in the morning, and then we go to the courthouse. So we now have 2 hours. So I try calling the jail, and I asked to speak to the nurse, and I was in the middle of talking to the nurse when my phone dies, so I couldn't get her to do anything. Now, my phone died because during the moment of Dave, my phone was in my pocket and it fell out, and it cracked even worse than it was already cracked. And Fritz also had his phone in his side pocket of his pants, and he went down. So both of us, when I say this, my phone was wrapped around with cords, and I like it was bad. It was really bad. So we're we're at the courthouse. My phone dies. I walk back to the car to try to go charge it. It's not taking a charge. I think by the time 1 o'clock came, it was at like 16%. I mean, I had just gotten over the warning. And we go inside, and you have to turn it off anyways. So I'm turning it off, and I'm going into this courtroom. Well, now I go into the courtroom, and you have to go check in with the bailiff. And I check in with the bailiff, and I tell him what I'm doing. And we watch these videos that you got to watch about how the court works, and you can't even look at the people the criminals that are in the cage, and it's typical stuff that you know, or well,
Maybe.
it's not maybe that you don't know, but it's understandable. It's understandable. So now he comes back over, and he goes to talk to the court clerk person who's actually the one that's in charge in that courtroom, and finds out that Dave's not on the docket, and that I need to go to this other room that tells everybody about what's going on with each of their cases. So I want to say maybe the court clerk. I don't know. They just told me the number, and I went straight to that room. So we go down to this room. They tell us that Dave's going to be released because they tell us that he's on the list to be released. Or no, that's not what I found. I found out that he wasn't on the docket, and that it was pending the district attorney. So, and then they told me that I should go talk to the district attorney's office. So now I go down to the district attorney's office, and I talk to the counter, and then I wait a minute, and then an investigator comes out, and I tell him what's going on, and he tells me to wait a minute, and then he ends up going and talking to the deputy district attorney who's in charge of this case, and the investigator comes out, and I end up going and sitting down with or with the district attorney, and again, I go through the whole thing, and I'm like, look, he needs help. This is what we're doing. This is why we're here. I mean, we're the victims, and we want you to know that we know that this wouldn't be happening if he had the mental assistance, and we could get him on something to get his brain to start working right. And we know that it's possible. We just need the help. And he tells us that they can't force people to do that, and that it can only be done, that the most they can do is give them an option. But finally he tells us, but I want to let you know that I have to release him today because I don't have enough to charge him. And I'm like, wait a minute, you had 8 sheriffs, you had 2 ambulance drivers, fire rescue, everybody at the hospital, and you're telling me that you don't have enough information by Monday? And I mean, mind you, I was upset, so it was coming out probably a little differently. And he's like, yeah, he's like, and then he told me that, this unfortunately, this happens with a lot of mentally ill people, and that the most you can do is make it an option, and that he would keep me posted. And well, still haven't heard anything. So Monday will be 3 weeks, and I'm calling. But let's go back. So we leave his office. Now we go over to the jail so I can find out what's going on. And they say, well, if he's going to be released, they'll get the papers by 6 o'clock. It probably won't happen until 7. But anytime between 7 and midnight, Dave can be released. Well, that's 5 hours. There we go. Now it's like 2:30 in the afternoon now. I got an hour drive home, and it's going to take me an hour to get back. And now I've got to go and get all Dave's stuff because he can't stay here. My landlord's not going to let him back. I don't know if I can trust to have him back. My cousin, she doesn't want to say anything either way because she has kids, and she would fight for him too. So she knows it's a touchy subject. So I grab all his things and gather him up, and I got something to eat, and because I knew I was going to be in the car all night. And we go to the courthouse parking lot and we sit in it. And it's now we get there and it's probably 7:15. We go and check. No, he hasn't been released. Okay, fine. We'll sit outside. We're outside. We're waiting for him. I think it was like 9:15. We started seeing people coming out, and all of a sudden we thought we seen him, and then he went back. So we walked up and had his stuff. Now he still had clothes that we had found when they were stashed. So we put them into a bag. Deborah had a bag that he could actually put everything into, and we brought him his laser because we don't want him to be uncomfortable. And the cops actually brought his stuff that he had with him back here after they took him and arrested him. So we had everything of his. So we put everything together and we put it all into the bag. And we went back there and we sat there and we gave him his stuff. And he had no idea what he did. He was like, all right, I'm homeless again. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, all right, I got this. And I'm like, so why don't you call me in a couple days? I get paid in 2 days, Dave. Call me in 2 days. I'll figure something out. I'll at least, try to get you some money or something. He's like, yeah. I'm like, which way you going? And he's like, well, I heard that, and I think I'm going to head to Monterey because I hear the sand fleas have a military base there and they have an affinity to scarf spinning. Okay, and then he's like, hey, which way's the water? And I'm like, Dave, I really don't know. I don't even really know where I am. And I'm like, Dave, it's GPS. I have no idea. And my phone died while we were waiting for him because I'm having charging issues, and it doesn't charge unless I hold it. And I kept trying to go stand by the fountain that was outside of the place so that I could be there for when Dave walked out. So my phone was dead and I couldn't help him. And I gave him the last of our cigarettes. I gave him the last of our money, which we had $9 cash. And he gave me a hug. He told me he loved me. And I don't think I'll ever hear from my son again. I'm gonna have to look for him again because the mom in me's not gonna let that go. And if I keep in touch with this district attorney, maybe I can get David what's called a legal advocate, which doesn't look out for his criminal activity, but they look out for his best interest to make sure that his rights aren't being violated. And after they see him, they're going to realize that he needs mental help, and they'll be able to help a little bit more than I can. So, but I just learned about this, and that's a whole nother story because I don't know how much that would be. I don't know much about it. I just heard about it, so I'm just looking into this. So Monday we get home, and I'm a wreck. I just had to let my son go after finding him and after doing all of this, and I'm still itching, and I don't know what's going on, and I keep having scabs pop off of me, and then so we're chalking it up to healing. And it's, like I said, that was a vacuum day, and then the next day we did the essential oils, and I redid my hair, and we're going, we got the spray, or I'm sorry, this time I end up finding another bug in my hair. But that's when we also found out that Dave was storing bugs in my brush. They were crawling out of the hole in the air pocket of my brush. I'm now freaking. That brush is in the garbage. I've now poisoned my head again. I'm outside letting everything jump off that could possibly live, because it can't, they suffocate with the oil. So there, I'm outside. I wait the 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours. Now I go shower. Bugs are falling out of my hair again. And I'm just in tears. I'm in absolute tears. Now we end up getting 2 gallons of this spray. And when I say we sprayed every nook and cranny, I went through just a gallon on the crevices. I went through a half a gallon on just Dave's bed. And then I did the rest of the carpets and stuff with a spray bottle. I did the cupboards. I did, every dish was out of here. This is also when we found, behind the TV that was on the desk, David's hats. So basically, we didn't get everything out of the house. So now we literally take a pot of water and boil his hats for a half hour. There's nothing alive on them. The brush is already sprayed and outside in the garbage, and it's gone. It's been walked down to the dumpster. Like I said, just poisoned my head again. We have resprayed everything. And when I say this, we turn the mattress sideways in order to get it really done so that it can dry and everything can dry into the cracks, okay? And then the next day, because we do this at night so that it's not too hot for my cat, because we were putting my cat in the car at night so that she had a little bit more room. Or out here if it's during the day because it's too hot in the car. This particular time was the evening. So we now have nothing. There's nothing in the house. I mean, we at least, if it's not in the refrigerator, or it's not one of the, we had 2 recliners, a nightstand, even the kitchen table had been brought out. All the kitchen chairs are out. They've been out for weeks. The computer chair hasn't been in the house since that Friday, the Friday after Dave did his thing. There's nothing left in the house. Everything is in brown or black bags outside if it is out, and we're cooking everything. There's nothing left. How is this happening? Now, during this spray down, or no, yeah, we do this unbelievable spray down, and we find, yeah, absolutely crazy. And the next day is vacuum day. Well, we vacuum everything, and when I say this, I found dirt that, I'm telling you, it had to have been there since before we got there, and this was a very immaculately cleaned camper. This thing's gorgeous. It's really in fairly decent shape. Well, during the Santa Ana winds, during the wildfires that were happening here, our trailer shifted, and our extension for where the couch is actually shifted enough where there was a 3-inch gap at the top, and we didn't know, which is why we couldn't get the living room to stay real warm, and it was cold out there. It was just always cold, and we didn't know what to do, and we didn't know how to fix it, and so that day, like I said, I mean, we're washing the walls, I mean, I'm washing everything. I'm washing it all because we're vacuuming it. We're going to clean all this stuff up. We're done. And we find this gap. So we end up getting the neighbor to come over. He helps us get it so that instead of a 3.5 inch gap, it's now under an inch. It's close. It's really close. We can do this now. This is something we can work with. And we end up getting some kind of HVAC tape, the metal tape, and we put it over the whole molding part after we completely rewashed it again and vacuumed it all out and closed it off again, and then we go through and we spray it again. Just for good measure. Now at this point, I'm poisoning my head pretty much every 3 days. And every 3 days, we're finding these bugs again, and I don't know what to do. We've gone through fleas, we've gone through sand mites, and we've gone through bed bugs, and I'm still finding bugs. So now we end up doing this oil thing finally. And like I said, I do the oil, wash my hair, everything's off of my hair. We keep doing this. Come to find out, just a few days ago, that I've been washing the bugs out, but my son also came with lice. And I have been doing this for 10 weeks with him. I have scars on the back of my neck. I am just getting over it. Before we got to the end of this little run, though, because we're still talking 2 weeks ago here, we're still bug spraying. We're frustrated. We're done. We've gone through 7 gallons of bug spray. I have gone through 4 or 5 gallons of distilled water. I've gone through boiled water to use with this in spray bottles. I've soaked everything. I've soaked us. I don't understand where these bugs are coming from. Obviously, it was lice. And every time I would go somewhere, I'd slick my hair first, and then I'd wash it. I was poisoning myself for 2 hours to make sure that I wasn't sharing nothing. I was making Fritz do the same thing. We are not sharing none of this. So, I end up calling, basically, we're done. I'm poisoning my head again. We're looking to find out what's the last resort. So now we find out that bed bugs are so common, it's kind of crazy that we didn't think about it. Didn't know, because we've never dealt with this stuff before. But bed bugs are starting to become resistant to the poisons, and the FDA hasn't been able to completely prove that the essential oils work. The only thing that's guaranteed to work is to get your residents over 123 degrees. Now, anybody that knows about cars getting warm can tell that a camper is going to have similar situations. So we have literally been, any day that's over 75 degrees, we're out here underneath this lovely fifth wheel trying to make sure that this house gets heated just in case. Today is day 5, the 5th time we've been able to do it. And today is also the first time that we've been able to do it after making sure that the lice is gone. So this has been the most trying, painful, antagonizing experience I have ever gone through. But in the long run, I do know that if I ever do get my son back and we try this again, I know to bring bug bed spray. I know to bring the essential oils because they do work as far as on your own skin. I have to bring a lice comb and a lice kit. And I have to literally have him throw anything that is cloth out and bring clothes. That's the best I can, that's what I have to do. He has to shower in something that is scalding hot, and that's what I have to do. And the bug spray is to make sure that I can put him in a car and I can get him someplace to shower and spray everything down everywhere he goes so that everything will be killed. So that would be a miracle anyways, because I don't think that he's ever going to get in touch with us again, and it's going to end up coming back down to doing a missing person. And of course, that all still depends on what we find out with the district attorney's office. So basically, this waking up all the time and reliving Dave, and then not being able to put it away because of the bugs and the non-ending bug situation that we've been going on. Literally, we just want to go home. We just want to go home. We want to be able to get into a place where we have our family, our friends, and I'll be able to afford to make sure that we can fly back and such for work, and hopefully I can make those appointments around Dave's court cases if he ends up going back to court. I have no idea yet. But otherwise, we're done. So on that note, that's pretty much the end. I have a couple other little snippet videos that'll be in here that, like show what we did for the house and maybe a little snippet of what California's been like, and also one about me so that you guys have a better idea of who I am, though after all these videos I'm sure you have an idea. Alright, on that note, thank you very much, and if there's any chance you can donate, please do.